Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of class 6 English 2nd. As you all know that the government is not allowing you to come to the school because of the second wave of COVID-19. So we are going to resume the classes on YouTube as well as on the Teams app. So today this is the first video of session 2021-2022. So I'm going to start chapter number 1, which is Leaving the Valley. Starting our new first chapter, which is Leaving the Valley. This chapter is about a little girl whose name is Malala Yousafzai. She is a native of Pakistan, and to be more appropriate, she is the native of Swat Valley in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is a part of northeast Pakistan. She got famous after she got hit by a bullet right on her head as she was trying to go against the terrorists of Taliban. And when the terrorists of Taliban actually invaded Afghanistan. So this is an extract from her book which she wrote about herself, which means it is her autobiography. Alright, so first is Malala Yousafzai is an activist for the education of girls and women. She began her activism in her native Swat Valley in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, northwest Pakistan, where the local Taliban at times did not allow girls to attend the school. In 2009, when Malala was 12 years old, the growing violence in her region forced her family to flee. In this extract from her story, Malala describes this experience. Alright, so in this chapter, she tells us about the time when the terrorists of Taliban actually invaded half of the part of Afghanistan and tried to conquer the place where they lived, and this made her family and this made Malala and her family leave the place where they used to live. So let us study what happened and why did they have to leave the place. Leaving our home felt like having my heart ripped out. I stood on our roof looking at the mountains, the snow-topped Mount Elam. I looked at the trees all coming into leaves. The fruit of our apricot tree might be eaten by someone else this year. So as she was about to leave the place, she was standing on the terrace of her house, and she was looking at the nearby areas. Why was she looking at the nearby areas? Because as she was leaving the place, she thought that she was going to miss her valley, miss the place where she was born and brought up, and she is going to miss that place more than anything in the world. So she was sad to leave her place. That's why she was standing on the terrace looking at the surroundings. She was looking at the snow-topped Mount Elam, which was right in front of her home, and also the trees that were near, and most importantly, she was looking at the apricot tree, and while she was looking at the tree, what she was thinking that this year somebody else is going to eat the trees. And why somebody else is going to eat that tree? Because eat the fruits of the tree, because they will be leaving that place. Everything was silent, pin drop silent. There was no sound from the river or the wind. Even the birds were not chirping. I wanted to cry because I felt in my heart that I might never see my home again. So what she was describing the area around her home, she was actually very sad to see that there was no silence, as the area was prone to terrorism and bombarding and bullet firing and things. There were no animals and no birds left there. Okay, the area was under terrorism, so there was no voice of the people, of the animals, of the birds, है ना? So there was no sound of anything. So that made that little girl cry, because this was not the place she used to live. That place used to be very happy. The birds chirped all the time, the animals were there, people were there, they used to come out and play and stuff like they do in colony, right? But there was nobody, uh, there was nobody at that time, around whom they around whom she can play or do some things. Everything I could not imagine happening had happened. I thought my school would never close, and it had. I thought we would never leave Swat, and we were just about to. I thought Swat would be free of the Taliban one day and we would rejoice, but I realized that might not happen. So there was everything that was happening is something that she had never imagined. She never imagined that her school will get closed. She never imagined that her valley would be so sad, and there will be no people left. She did not know that she had to leave her home. There was everything that was happening there was actually very unexpected. And then she also felt like that one day Afghanistan, the area that she live in is going to be free from the Taliban terrorists, but she realized that it was not going to happen. All right, come to the next page. I started to cry. It was as if everyone had been waiting for someone else to start. My cousin's wife, Honey, started weeping. Then all of us were crying, but my mother was composed and courteous. So as she told in the story that she wanted to cry, anybody would have cried when he or she would get to know that they have to leave the place. So she is also a human being. She also cried, and looking at her crying, her cousin's wife, her name was Honey, she also started to cry. And why did she cry? Because they did not want to leave the place where they were born and brought up. But looking at everybody else, everybody looking at each other, they started to cry, but the mother did not cry. Why? Because she had to be strong in front of her children. I put all my books and notebooks in my school bag and then packed another bag of clothes. I couldn't think straight. I took the trousers from one set and the top from the other, so I had belongings. So I had a bag of things which didn't match. I didn't take any of my school awards or photos or personal belongings, as we were traveling in someone else's car and there was a little room. So what things did she pack? She packed all the books of her school in her school bag, and in other bag she packed some trousers and shirts which did not match to each other. So as she had 4 pair of clothes, she only took 2. She was more concerned about the she was more concerned about her books. She did not take her certificates or the photos or any awards from the school, but she did take her books and very less number of clothes. And she could not take those awards. Why? Because she was traveling in somebody else's car and she had a very little space. My mother also said I must leave my school bag behind. We didn't own anything expensive like a laptop or jewelry, or our only valuable items had been our TV, a fridge, and a washing machine. We didn't lead a luxurious life. We Pashtuns preferred to sit on the floor rather than the chairs. But when she came down, where everybody was actually putting their luggage, the mother said that we actually did not know where we were going, and she was not allowed to carry the school bags because she is not going to study anywhere. All right. And because her mother, and since they were not that much of rich, I will not call them poor, they were not that rich, they just had very few things that actually was useful at their home, like washing machine, fridge, and TV. There was nothing else that they had, so they did not lead any kind of luxurious life. That's why her mother did not have any jewelry of her own. Okay, and since she was Pashtun were the people who were a part of who used to come from the parts where people speak Pashto, which is a language. Okay, those people you prefer to sit on the floors rather than on the chair. Okay, my father had resisted leaving till the end, but then some of my parents' friends had lost a relative to gunfire. Seeing their grief made my mother determined to leave. She told my father, "You don't have to come, but I'm going and I will take the children to Shangla." She knew he couldn't let her go alone. Okay, so what happened? And if I ask you to leave your home, will you be able to leave your home? No. Why? Because it is very hard to leave your home. है ना? When we know that we have no place else to go. Same thing happened with the father. He was not ready to go that area, leave that area. Why? Because he had his feelings with that place. But some of the friends that their mother and that her mother and father had, they lost a relative to a gunfire. A relative of their friends actually died by was killed by a terrorist, okay, Talibani terrorist, and this made her mother very much sure about leaving that place. All right, then her mother, when she got angry looking at her father that they were not going, she said that she would leave without her father, and she would also take the children with her. Okay, and now she knew that her father won't let her go alone. My mother had enough of the gunfire and tension, so she called Dr. Afzal and begged him to pursue my father to leave. He and his family were going, so they offered us a lift. We didn't have a car. We were lucky that our neighbor Safina and her family were also leaving and could fit some of us in their car, while the rest would go with Dr. Afzal. So what happened? Since they never led a very luxurious life, they had no car of their own. Alright, so what happened? Dr. Afzal and Safina, they were their neighbors. They actually adjusted half of the family. The half of the family got adjusted in Safina's back, and half of the family got adjusted in Dr. Afzal's car. So this way they made a lift to the place where they had to go. And where they were planning to go? They were planning to go to Shangla, which was a family village to the mother of Malala. On 5th May 2009, we became IDPs, internally displaced persons. It sounded like a disease, which means that on 5th May 2009, they were categorized under the category of IDP, which means internally displaced person. Since they planned themselves to leave the place, so they came under this category. And according to Malala, it felt like it was a disease. My mother, father, grandmother, my cousin's wife and baby, and my brothers were all squashed into the back of Dr. Afzal's van, along with his wife and children. There were children in the laps of adults and smaller children in their laps. I was luckier that there were fewer people in Safina's car, but I was devastated by the loss of my school bag. So they tried to adjust themselves in those of though in both the cars, because they were more in number. So half of the family got adjusted in Dr. Afzal's van, and half of the family got adjusted in in Safina's car. And Malala was feeling lucky that she got to get into Safina's car, but at the same time she was unhappy knowing that she has to leave her school bag. Safina's father put his foot on the pedal, and we drove out of the small world of our street, home and school, and into the unknown. We did not know if we would ever see our town again. So what happened? They left their valley, and they were not sure whether they were they were ever getting any chance to come back and visit that place or get to live at that place. The streets were jam packed. I had never seen them so busy before. There were cars everywhere, as well as rickshaws, mule carts, and truck laden with people and their belongings. So everybody was leaving the place, so streets were jam packed and all the vehicles were actually very packed. Thousands of people were leaving with just the clothes they had on their backs. It felt as if the whole valley was on the move. Few people knew few people knew where they were going. They just knew they had to leave. This was the bigger exodus in the Pashtun history. So as everybody was scared of the terrorism there, so everyone decided to leave that place when terrorists took over at a very high rate. All right, so it felt like the whole valley was on move. Every person in the valley is leaving the place. The road was heaving with traffic. It was a long slow journey and we were all very sweaty, crammed in together. Usually car journeys are an adventure for us children, as we rarely go anywhere, but this was different. Everyone was depressed. It is mentioned in the story that they did not have any kind of luxury. They did not live any luxurious life. So Malala used to feel very happy whenever they used to go by a car. But this journey was sad because they had to leave the place. Finally, we got through the mountain pass and left Swat behind. It was late afternoon by the time we reached Mardan. My father kept insisting, in a few days we will return, everything will be fine, but we knew that it was not true. Okay, so the time was after the afternoon and they left Mardan. Okay, but her father, he was insisting, he was trying to calm down, make the children calm down by making them understand that everything is going to be fine. But the children were smart enough, so they knew that nothing is going to be fine now. My father then left us to go to Peshawar and alert people to what was happening. He promised to meet us later. The next day we met up with my cousin Khanji, who was going to Besham, from where we would go to Shangla. Now what happened? It might be possible that Malala's father might be having some relatives in Peshawar. Since they were very down to earth people, they do not have any luxurious life. They did not lead very any kind of luxurious life. So they might not be having any television. And this thing happened in 2009. There were less people who had televisions at their home, and moreover, if there is terrorism at one place, it is impossible for the news channels also to telecast it, So they were thinking that people were not knowing in Peshawar what was happening in the Swat Valley. Also, they did not have any phones also, so it was tough for them to convey this message to them. So her father decided that he will go to Peshawar and alert people, and then he will meet the whole family again in Shangla directly. Okay. The next day, Malala met with her cousin, whose name was Khanji, and then they started to go to Besham, and from Besham they would go to Shangla. It was not easy from Besham to our village, and we had to walk for 25 kilometers carrying all our things. At one point we were stopped by the army, who told us we could not go any further and must turn back. So what happened? Since they do not have any kind of vehicle, so they had to walk for 25 minutes, and then they got stopped by the army, telling them that there is no place ahead, there is no way ahead, and they have to leave. They have to go back from wherever they have come. Our home is in Shangla. Where will we go? We begged. My grandmother started crying. Finally, they let us through. The army and their machine guns were everywhere. Because of the curfew and the checkpoints, there was Not one other vehicle on the road that did not belong to the military. We were afraid that the army wouldn't know who we were and would shoot us. So everywhere, since there were terrorists everywhere, so army and police had to keep their vehicles, their people, I mean the rest of the army men, the rest of the policemen were actually kept all over the was made to secure that area by using their machine guns or any other weaponries they had. All right. So she was thinking that it might also happen that the army would not know that we are people of Pakistan only and would shoot us. That was just her fear. It was not going to happen. We stayed in my mother's village, Karshat, with my uncle Faiz Muhammad and his family. I was happy to be with my cousin Sumbul, who is a year older than me. Once we were settled, I started going to school with her. I was in year 6 but started in year 7 to be with Sumbul. It took over half an hour to walk to the school. My uncle gave me pocket money to buy snacks at school. They sold cucumber and watermelon, not sweets and crisps like Mingora. So what happened? Then they went and stayed at in the village they stayed at Karshat with her uncle Faiz Muhammad, who was a brother, most probably a brother to her mother. Okay, then she was happy to be with her cousin whose name was Sumbul, and then wherever Sumbul, in whatever school Sumbul used to study, she got herself admitted there only. But since Sumbul was in year 7 and she was in year 6, she got admitted herself in year 7th only, so that she could be with Sumbul. And and her uncle Faiz Muhammad would give them some money to buy snacks at school. But she used to compare those snacks like cucumber and watermelon, and she used to compare those with her school's watermelon and cucumber, and they were not good enough like they used to be in Mingora. One day at school there was Parents' Day and prize giving ceremony. I read a poem about working hard to achieve your your heart's desire. A diamond must be cut many times before it yields even a tiny jewel, I said. So at her school there was a prize distribution ceremony and Parents' Day. So she gave a speech on how a diamond must be cut many times to give a tiny jewel. It was nice being with my cousins, but I missed my books. I kept thinking of my school bag at home with copies of Oliver Twist and Romeo and Juliet waiting to be read. But now we were living our own drama. We had been so happy, then something very bad had come into our lives, and we were now waiting for our happy ending. So what happened? She was happy to live in Karshat with her family and her cousins, but she was deep down inside, she was very sad because she missed her home, her school book, her room. Alright, she was thinking about the books that she did not read yet, and she want them to read. And she all she could think about is that they were so happy, and now she was waiting for the time to come where she could be happy again. After we had been in Shangla for about 6 weeks, my father said we could travel to Peshawar. It was very emotional to see him again, then a complete family once more. We travelled down to Islamabad, and then we went to Haripur, where one of my aunts lived. It was the 4th city in 2 months. I knew we were better off than those who lived in the camps, queuing for food and water for hours under the hot sun, but I missed my Veni. So what happened? After 6 weeks, her father came back from Peshawar to Shangla and told them that it was safe for them to travel back to Peshawar, where her father's family was. She got very emotional to see her father after such a long time. Then she went back to Peshawar with whole of her family, and starting with, they traveled down to Islamabad first, and then they went to Haripur, where one of her aunts lived, and they stayed there for some time, and then it was her fourth city in 2 months. Okay. Then she started to compare, matlab, she still missed her valley, but she was also happy to see herself not being in those camps. See, sometimes what happened when these kinds of natural, if these types of unnatural calamities or some kind of natural calamities come, to rescue the people and to keep them, matlab, since they do not have their homes, so some NGOs or some kind of public figure, public people from other places come and give this give the, what do we call it, means they come and help the people by providing them the facility of camps. They provide the facility of free food, free water, but then there are more number of people and less more number of people living in the camps than less people of number coming to the camps. All right, so they have to be in the line under the hot sun, less water they get, but she was very lucky because she had her family and her relatives to help her out. It was there I spent my 12th birthday. Nobody remembered. I was upset and recalled how different my 11th birthday had been. I had shared a cake with my friends. There were balloons, and I had made the same wish I was making on my 12th birthday. But this time there was no cake and there were no candles to blow out. Once again I wished peace in our valley. So what happened now? It was her 12th birthday. But since in between of this chaos, they did not remember her birthday. Nobody remembered it. And then she started to recall what happened on her 11th birthday. She was with her friends and she was traveling. Oh, she shared a cake with them. They had a party, but this year she did not have people to remember it. All right, but then also she actually prayed for her safety, her family's safety, her valley's safety, and peace in the whole of Pakistan. All right, so this is actually a book which is I Am Malala, which is written by Malala Yousafzai only. So this was an extract. Then she has told us the whole, in this book she has told the whole story, how she got shot or in her head and then went to USA for her treatment, and then from then she is living in USA only. So this was the whole story of I Am Malala. I hope that you all have understood it, and in my next video next week I'm going to start the exercise and the question answers of this chapter. Till then, take care, keep studying,